everyone in the world, everyone that ever existed, is going to get exactly what they want. God created everyone. God is everything. He is the universe. God is going to bring everyone back to himself, one way or another. When the world burns, where will you be? Where will you be? Have you thought about it? Everybody looks to the end of the world and they're so worried about it. The end of the world will come. One day, the sun will grow into a red giant and consume the earth. The earth has a timeline. But why do we all look for the end of the world? When we die, it's over. And that could happen today. That can happen today for any one of us. There are so many religions in the world. Can they all be right? Can they all be wrong? Maybe, just maybe, God wanted us to work together to find out what the whole truth is. And maybe together we can find that truth, but only if we work together.
Welcome.
Buddhists believe that if you are enlightened, then you will get out of the reincarnation merry-go-round and be reunited with the One. The One is the universe, the energy. That is their goal. So how do you get nirvana? That's what they call it, nirvana. To be reunited with the universe. It's not an individual thing, by the way. You lose your consciousness and you are absorbed into the collective. A lot of great things about Buddhism. They teach a oneness with nature. They teach holding others above yourself, a selflessness. This selflessness pervades all religions, by the way. Evil is selfish. Good is selfless. And so the Christians say, love God, love others. The Buddhists say, love others, love nature. It's almost the same thing. They teach a lot of very similar things. Hindus believe very similarly to Buddhists. They believe in reincarnation. They believe that you build your karma over your life, whether you build it good or bad, and you're rewarded by the reincarnation of how you are reincarnated into this world. Is your life going to be better as a human? You could even be reincarnated as a dog. You can be reincarnated as a cow, an elephant, a spider, anything within nature. Buddhism originated in India, and so Hinduism is very similar. All these different gods in Hinduism, it's very interesting that they believe the same thing in essence as Buddhists, that if you do the right thing and achieve the right karma, then you can get off the reincarnation merry-go-round and be reunited with the One, nature, the universe. A lot of people think the universe is God. Buddhists think the universe is God. They believe these gods were guidelines guiding people towards that end, to be reunited with the universe. Christianity, Judaism, and Islam are all very, very similar. They all worship the same God. Christianity and Islam follow the Torah. So does Judaism. They all three follow the Torah. Christianity believes in many books in the New Testament, whereas Islam only believes in one, the book of Luke. They call it Injil. And it's basically the same book as the book of Luke, except they changed the name from God to Allah, and Jesus is Isa. So very similar. Judaism just follows the Torah, which is basically the Old Testament. The prophets, Psalms, Proverbs are the Torah. All three religions worship the same God. All three religions want the same thing, to make it to heaven, to be reconciled to God. They have different views on how that's going to happen. Mostly Islam and Judaism think it's about being a good person, but ultimately everybody is still saved by the grace of God. Meanwhile, Christianity says it's only through Jesus to be reconciled to God, through being godly, and both of them teach many of the same values and morals. It's amazing that these religions don't get along because they're so similar with really basic differences. Islam believes Jesus was a prophet. Even the book of Luke is considered a vision of God by the prophet Jesus. They don't believe that he was the Son of God. Whereas Judaism, there's a lot of Jewish people that think that Jesus was a prophet, but just not the Son of God or God himself. Whereas Christianity holds Jesus to be not just a prophet, but the Son of God. And so all of the world's religions that we've looked at so far all have the same goal, and that is to be reconciled with God. Now, their idea of God is different, and their idea of being reconciled to him is different, but we share so many of the same similarities. Whether God is this person or whether God is the universe, even from a Christian or biblical perspective, you have to say that God is everything. If God is eternal, then he has to be everything. He has to be the universe. And so he is the universe. He is energy. God is all these things, and it's so much more. I don't think we can ever get our minds around what God really is, but we all want the same goal. We all want to be reconciled to God, and the way to do that is through living a godly life. Christians think that you're saved because of what Jesus did, and so it's 100% grace and you live a godly life because you were saved, whereas all the other world's religions believe in you must live a godly life in order to attain being reunited with God. The Christians, Muslims, and Jewish people believe that if you don't achieve immortality as an individual, then a fiery hell awaits you, or a fiery death. But energy can neither be created nor destroyed. God can't separate himself and extinguish a part of himself. It gets reabsorbed into the one. And so you either attain individual immortality or you get reabsorbed into one. Now do we see how all the religions are coming together, and everybody is going to get what they want, because you either achieve immortality as an individual or you achieve immortality by being reunited back with God, losing your consciousness, but you will never die, because God cannot separate anything from himself or he wouldn't be eternal. Eternal things don't have limits. They don't have places where they stop and places where they start. They just are. And it goes beyond our comprehension. And so people think that they're separated from God. People are not ever separated from God. If the entire universe is God, then our bodies are a part of that universe. Our bodies and souls are a part of that universe. We cannot be separated from God because God cannot separate from himself. He is eternal. And so you are going to get what you want. whether you want to live forever as an individual and your soul and your consciousness, or you will live forever by being reabsorbed into God. You probably have a lot of questions, and I will attempt to touch on everything in other videos. My next video, I'm going to talk about the one anomaly, and that is Jesus. Jesus is an anomaly to all of world history, and I will show everyone that. The main thing you should take away from this is there is no fear. Fear is of pain and death, and those things don't await anyone. Do you really think a good and benevolent God is going to punish someone forever for this short time that they were here on earth when they couldn't even see him, couldn't hear his voice? If you understand justice, don't you think that God understands justice so much more than us? We're talking about an eternal, omnipotent God that has an intelligence beyond our comprehension. He knows everything. He's outside of time. He sees time from the end to the beginning. There is no reason to fear. We will be reunited with God. We will all be reunited with God one way or another, and that should bring everyone so much joy. Decide which way you want it to be, and then do it. And now you know. Thanks for tuning in, folks. There's going to be a lot more videos coming about a lot of interesting things. This is just the beginning. Please like and subscribe and share. Peace.
Goodbye.